Welcome to Homework Help 3.6. The last homework help before break. Ooh. All right, so this is number 5. So you're finding the x and the y intercepts. Remember, let me tilt you down just a little bit. There. Remember to find the x-intercepts. So that's where your graph crosses the x-axis. You substitute 0 in for y. So we'll just do that first. So we're going to substitute 0 in for y. 0 minus 5 equals, okay. Oh dear, on this side, you have negative 5. And then over here, you can divide by negative 4 if you want. You can also distribute it and then work with it. I guess I'll divide by negative 4. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 4. Wait, is it negative 4? Did I write that down right? Yes. Okay, negative 4 equals 1. All right. So then, divided by, I'm going ahead of myself. All right, negative 5 equals negative 4 x plus 1. If you want, that's what you can distribute it and then work from there. We're just going to divide by negative 4 first. All right, so that's 5/4. It becomes a positive number equals 5/4 equals x plus 1. All right, to get x by itself, we're going to subtract 1 from both sides. If that's hard for you to see, you can either write this as a fraction or you can write this as a mixed number. 5/4 as a mixed number is 1 and 1/4. Or you could write negative 1 as a fraction, which would be negative 4/4. Okay. I don't know. I did that first, so we'll do that. So that's negative 1 and 1/4 minus 1 is just 1/4. So x equals, your x-intercept is 1/4 and y is 0. So that would be your x-intercept for number 5. Okay. Your y-intercept, on the other hand, so now we're finding where our graph crosses the y-axis. So x is 0, so substitute 0 in for x. So I have y minus 5 equals negative 4, and then substitute it in. So that's 0 plus 1. Okay, and then simplify. Y minus 5 equals negative 4. 0 plus 1 is 1. So y minus 5 equals negative 4. I'm trying to solve for y, so we need to get rid of this negative 5. To do that, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. So y is equal to negative 4 plus 5 is 1. So your y-intercept, x is 0, y is 1. So that would be like 2. X is 0, y is 1. All right, that's number 5. Let me pause you. Okay. I really think you guys should be fine on the factored form ones. Oh, and identify the x-intercepts. I forgot I put that in there. Okay. Let's look at number 8. Sure. So number 8 is, I already forgot, x squared, I think plus 5x. 1 second. Yes, okay. And you have to identify the x-intercepts. I don't know that I like that I put that in there. Okay, well anyway, factoring. We were doing these in class. So what can I factor? What am I going to multiply together to get this? So in class, we were just pulling out what they both have. So I can factor out an x, and that leaves me with x squared divided by x is x. 5x divided by x is just 5. All right? The other way you can look at it is this is a, b, so c is just 0. So now you're just factoring it like a normal one. What adds up to 5, the multiplies together to get 0. Ta-da! This doesn't do anything. The plus 0 doesn't do anything. So we just rewrite it as x plus 5 times x. Because this just turns into x. Okay. All right. Well, that would actually, the way we had it written, would help you find, well, whatever. It's fine. So now, x-intercepts. So when this would be equal to 0, you could also rewrite this. Remember, this is factored form. So your x-intercepts would be -5. And also that makes sense because -5 plus 5 would make this 0. And 0 times x is just 0. So that checks out. Your other one is just going to be 0. There's no opposite of 0, which also makes sense. If x is 0, then you have 0 times x plus 5, which is 0. 0 times anything is just 0. So your x-intercepts would be -5, 0, and the origin, or 0, 0. Okay. Ow. Let's see what else. Okay. Hold on. There. For the next section, you have to use the quadratic formula. I tell you that you have to use it and you have to show your work. If you don't show your work, I'm not going to give you credit. You have to show your work. Maybe I'll give you a little bit of credit, but I definitely won't give you full credit. Okay, so I still have the quadratic formula written up here. You should have it in your notes. So the first thing you're going to do is identify A, B, and C. So our standard form is 0 equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So looking at our equation, go ahead and pull out A, B, and C. Okay. A is the number in front of x squared, so A is 2. B is in front of x, so notice the negative sign, so it's -3. And C is your constant, your loner, your -5. All right, now we have it all labeled. We substitute it in. I'm going to go ahead and erase this. We don't need it, and I need more room. All right. So just substitute everything in. So I have negative b, which is -3. Be careful. That means you have -3. -3, which turns into +3. So be careful with that. You have +3. Is that too small? That's a little small. Make it a little bigger. Plus or minus. Then you have your square root. B squared. So b is -3. I'll write it out. So -3 squared minus 4 times a times c. So 4 times 2 times -5. As always, be careful with your negatives. All over 2 times A. 2 times, what is A? A is 2. Ta-da! All right. Whew. All I did was substitute everything in. Remember, this became a positive 3 because it was negative, negative. So it became a positive, okay? So it's positive 3. All right, here we go. 3 plus or minus negative 3 squared. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Minus, actually, it's going to be a positive. Negative 4 times 2. So remember, you multiply these 3 together. Multiply these 3 together. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. Times negative 5. Negative 8 times negative 5 is going to give you a positive. And it is positive 40. All over 2 times 2, which is 4. All right. Keep going. 3 plus or minus square root of 49 all over 4. All right. I'm going to move in this direction. Oh, other way. There. Okay, good enough. Okay, here we are. 3 plus or minus 49. So take the square root of 49. So I have 3 plus or minus square root of 49 is 7 all over 4. Okay, here's where we are, where you turn it into 2 different formulas, not formulas, equations. I have 3 plus 7, plus 7 all over 4 equals something. And I have 3 minus 7 plus 7 and minus 7 all over 4, which equals something else. Okay. This is 10 over 4. Don't turn it into a decimal, but reduce your fraction. How can I reduce this fraction without turning it into a decimal? I can divide both by 2. This is the same thing as 5 over 2. All right, so that's one answer. Your other answer, 3 minus 7, is negative 4 over 4. What's negative 4 divided by 4? Negative 1. All right, so I'm trying to think how they want you. Let me see how they want you to write it. Oh, they just want you to write, this is fine, x equals 5 over 2 and, wait, can you still see this? Yeah, and negative 1. Or you could write x equals 5 over 2, x equals negative 1. That means the same thing. But those are your answers, 5 over 2 and negative 1. If you were to graph this, these would be your x-intercepts. It would cross your x-axis at 2.5, which is 5 over 2, and a negative 1. All right. Woo! Okay, you're on your own for the other 3 of those, I think. How many of those did I give you? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, I only gave you 4. All right. The last part is solved by completing the square. So this is what we did at the end of class. Yeah, we'll leave that. Okay. Oh, I don't think I paused you. I meant to. Oh well. Doesn't really matter. Okay. There's only 2 of them. So I don't know. You only have 2 on your homework. I'll do one of them. I think. I think the first one comes out nicely, if I remember right. So I'll do the second one. I'll do number 16. X squared plus 3x minus 9. X squared plus 3x minus 9 equals 0. Okay. Oh, I have so many things up there. Solve by completing the square. So I want you to solve it by completing the square. I know you could solve it other ways. You could, actually the only other way you could factor this really is by, well, by doing the quadratic equation. So I don't think you guys will want to do that. Okay. So there are two ways to get started on this. You get to the same spot. You can kind of pick and choose which one you like better. I need this to go so I have more room. Maybe like that. Ooh. Okay, good enough. So I'm going to do it both ways because you get to the same, there's a point where you get to the same spot. X squared plus 3x minus 9 equals 0. I prefer the red way, but to each their own. So starting over here, you can do it how we've been doing it in class, or how we did it last unit. Last unit, it was f of x instead of a 0. Okay. So that's the reason we can do it. Well, never mind. When we did it last unit, this was like, f of x or y equals x squared plus 3x minus 9. Okay. So we didn't know what f of x was. We do this time. But you can still do the same process. This would be x squared plus 3x. So this is the way where you put your first two in parentheses and leave your third term on the outside. Don't forget to rewrite the equals 0. Okay, it'll be important later. So now you complete the square inside the parentheses. X squared plus 3x. I was trying hard not to make it. Let me make sure I wrote it down right. So I thought I avoided doing that. Nope, I did that. Okay, well, whatever. So you take half of your middle term. We're going to leave it as a decimal, as a fraction. So 3 over 2, take half of my middle term, and I square it. So that is 9 over 4. If you want to write it as a decimal, it's 2.25. So if you're a decimal person, it's 2.25. I'm going to leave it as a fraction for now anyway. I don't know. No. Well. No, I'll put it as a decimal. No, whatever. Either way, I can't decide. Okay. So then, doing it this way, you have this negative 9 on the outside. So remember, you can't just throw things into your equation. So we added on 2.25, so we have to subtract it out. Uh-oh, I'm going to run into my other one. Oh well. Okay, and that's still equal to 0. So then factor, we just made this a perfect square. So you can just take half of your middle term, which is 1/2. No, it's not 1/2. Sorry. 3/2 or 1.5 squared minus 11.25 okay, equals 0. All right, now you're solving, you're not done. You're solving for x. So we have to solve for x now. So remember, opposite of PEMDAS, you do it backwards. So start on the outside and work your way in. So I'm going to add this to both sides. So over here I have x plus 1.5 squared equals Okay. I know we're not done, but I'm gonna catch up on this side. Sorry, I'm erasing things in my way. Okay, that's where we are. Let me catch up over here. So this is the way I like to do it. You're still gonna complete the square, but whatever your C term is, your term without a variable, you're gonna move it to the other side so that I'm subtracting 9, so I'm gonna add 9. You're gonna work on both sides of the equation. X squared plus 3x, that's gone, is equal to 9. I just think, I don't know, I like it better. So now you're gonna complete the square, just like we did over here. You're gonna complete the square on this side. So you'll get x squared plus 3x plus 2.25 equals 9. Okay, here's where it's another way it's different. Now I'm working on two different sides of the equation. I'm working on this side and on this side. So you have to keep it balanced. So whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. So I added 2.25 onto this side, so I must add it over here. Okay. And then same thing as before, you factor this. We did it over there. So it's x plus 1.5 or 3/2 squared equals. So now we're in the same spot. So you get to the same spot. Okay, now I'll finish it. So now, no, it doesn't matter where you are. If you're doing blue or red, we're in the same spot now. So do the same thing. You're going to take the square root of both sides. Whatever. I can't believe I picked this problem, but whatever. X plus 1.5, right? Because these cancel out. So you're just left with x plus 1.5 equals plus or minus, positive or negative, positive or negative 11 square root of 11.25. Okay. So you're going to have two answers, so I'm going to subtract. So on this side, x is equal to negative 1.5 plus or minus 11.25. Oh my goodness. Oh, there's a glare right on that. Let's see if I can. Hello. Let me get a whole lot better. I'll rewrite it over here. So your final answer, hopefully without a glare, yes. X equals negative 1.5, or you can put 3 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 11.25. So once again, if you graphed our original equation, hold on. If you graphed our original equation, you would get x-intercepts at this point. So negative 1.5 plus the square root of 11.25 and negative 1.5 minus the square root of 11.25. Oh, I was going to graph it, but I can't show you Desmos right now. So those would be your x-intercepts. Okay, remember, this is actually a number. This is some decimal. All right, we're just leaving it as a square root. All right, I think that's it. Okay, I changed my mind. I went through and made this into a decimal, so that if you did graph it, your x-intercept would be here, 1.85. So that one is, that's if you do negative 1.5 plus 11.25. That will give you 1.85 as your answer. Sorry, plus the square root of 1.25. Your other one is negative 4.85, that's if you do negative 1.5 minus the square root of 1.25. So this really does just represent decimals. And those are your decimals. I graphed it on Desmos just to check, and yes, these are your two x-intercepts. Okay? All right. But yeah, you don't, I wouldn't just leave it like that. Okay, just leave it like that. You don't need to convert it to decimals. Okay, now, I think that's it. Okay, bye.